Welcome back. Time now to buckle down to our discussion here with our panelists who are already in studio. This is The Insight, where truth has a new address, and we want to look at how the week that has been, how things really panned out, and how we started the week. We had also pronouncements from the Minister of Interior regarding security matters, eagerly waiting for that also to happen on Friday, as he had also promised. But what is the catnip issue as well that is playing out in the public gallery is all about the national conclave. The IBC has shaken into place as well. We shall be looking at that. And also just what we had from the opposition, that we should take this government as a hostile government. And I want just to introduce our panelists. I've done that earlier, just priming you that yes, this conversation is on. And make sure also you go to our channels. TV47 KE is what we have on X. We can also share your contributions as well. Give us a thumbs up there, and all other socials that we have with TV47 KE. We want to unveil them right now, and we continue with the discussion. Bernard Kithure is a member of parliament in Nandi Hills, and also we have Wakabando, member of parliament, former member of parliament, Makurowini, and also the senator of Kisii. This is Richard Onyonka. We were eagerly waiting for Isaac Ruto to join us, but now he cannot really make it due to an unavoidable circumstance, and we'll continue pace with the conversation. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
It's been a while, and thank you for joining us. I think when we made the debut, it was Wakabando, Richard Onyonka that were here with Jennifer Shamala, and I'm glad that now we've gone full circle and you're back. And of course, also we have Bernard Kithure with us as well. So good evening, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm looking forward to a very engaging discussion. But just to set the tone of the conversation, will be nice to hear what has been on top of your mind as far as the political landscape is concerned for you. You've been keeping your eyes peeled. You've seen a lot of activities happening just here in the country and without, as far as the political scenario is concerned. Let's just begin with you, Richard. Good evening.
Dibal, where do I start with this one? Because it's quite loaded.
It's quite loaded.
Yeah. I think for me, I'd rather go back to Saba Saba. Mm-hmm. Because that was maybe the last time that I saw any substantive political activity. And of course, the consequentials are of that, those events, very sad and painful events for our country. And then what has been happening from that time until now. Mm-hmm. The second issue for me that has been important is, of course, I think you know, in a very biased manner, I have a presidential candidate called Matiang'i, and what many Kenyans had not noticed was that he actually had his maiden speech from on top of a Land Cruiser when we were in Kakamega. Mm-hmm. And the rallies in Western were wonderful. I was there. The public is engaged. Kenyans are changing. Kenyans are thinking. Very interesting. And when you come to the issues of the Senate, to me the biggest story really was members of parliament coming in and getting a two-thirds majority to try and legitimize CDF. Mm-hmm. I do not know what the Supreme Court is going to rule about that legitimization. The other thing that I found that was very interesting is that I saw in the headlines, because I work in the Senate and we do this oversight, Kiambu County, I was shocked that for the first time, their on-source revenue is at 6.5 billion shillings.
On-source revenue?
On-source revenue, yes. From 1.2. If it was in another country, and if those facts are true, then I think the governor of Kiambu County should be given the credit, because no governor since devolution has ever been able to actually pick his own source revenue beyond 200 million. Mm-hmm. So for Wamatangi to have picked the 2.1, I think, is where we found him 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he has hit 6.5, billion. Is very interesting. The only thing that is so funny, and I was laughing at it, because we counter-check, we talk with each other and we ask, how did this happen? Somebody told me, the case that has taken Wamatangi to court is that he had a revenue collection system which was corruptly gotten. Mm-hmm. And therefore, that's why he's in court. And yet this is the system
that has
collected the revenue to be 6.5. So I'm waiting to go to the Senate and see why that contradiction. But otherwise, the politics is still, it makes me uncomfortable. All right, and there's too much vitriol, there's too much hate. Mm-hmm. But again, the most important event, which I would say as my last comment, is of course my brother, my friend now, Honorable Gachagua, going to America and blowing up the diaspora. And shockingly, for the first time, I think he has achieved a first, where if the facts are true, that the diaspora community has raised him 1.5 billion shillings for his presidential campaign. It then, for me, brings out two issues: that a person who may not have any money, which he has stolen or which he had gotten by fraudulent means, doesn't have to run for president using that money. That you can actually come out and persuade Kenyans and tell them, listen, I've not stolen. I think we want a good country, and I'm begging you, I have a pay bill number. Donate for me, and I will, of course, run for president. And if I become president, I'm most probably going to be dignified, and there'll be no corruption and things like that. So I think there's a development taking place. Many people may not see it. For me, I see it that, one, things are changing. Number two, people are taking responsibility, particularly what I call the money responsibility in campaigns. And number three, as a legislator, Honorable Kabando, you and Mheshimiwa, it means that we may have to then begin discussing on campaign financing.
Yes.
What happens if a donor gives somebody from outside the country 100 billion shillings? Mm-hmm. Is that a legit disposition? Is that what we want in a country? What is the role? This is actually my feeling right now. Of course, before, we politicians were always very shy to discuss money in our politics. Mm-hmm. Mm. But I think we as legislators and members of parliament, and Kenyans of good faith, and in fact for me, anybody who takes the presidency next would have to sit down and engage and come to discuss the issue, which is usually taboo. How are we making money to run for elections? How much is it that we spend for those elections, and who donates and who doesn't? And then we can look at the best practice. Like in the U.S., you will be told there are those people who give $10. You'll be having those who are given a certain special responsibility of giving $200. Then you have the $10,000 donations. But there's a ratio that is given legally, so that you find that the fundraising which takes place in the U.S., for example, majority of the people who give are the $10, $20. So how do we bring a law then, which then allows a Kenyan, even if he's a vegetable vendor and he feels that this is the candidate who's going to represent me as an MCA, can I donate 20 shillings to his kitty? And I think those are the things now I feel that we need to look